In last class, we were started to discuss the propagation of electromagnetic wave in isotropic dielectric. We have arrived the Maxwell's equations in a particular form using the operators del equal to ik and del t equal to minus I omega. And those Maxwell's equations in its new forms are following. First one is k dot E equal to 0, second is k dot H equal to 0, third is k cross E equal to omega mu H, and the fourth one is minus k cross H equal to omega epsilon E. In fact, in this equation, this vector k is known as wave vector, and you know this wave vector is equal to omega by v n hat. In fact, n hat is a unit vector in the direction of propagation of the wave. So this was the result which we have obtained in the previous lecture. Now, on the basis of these equations, that is Maxwell's equations in this form, we will now discuss the important properties of the electromagnetic wave propagating in isotropic dielectric one by one. So let us explain its first property. The first property is that the electromagnetic wave in isotropic dielectric is of transverse nature. You know what the term transverse wave means. You know that when the oscillation of a quantity during wave propagation takes place in a direction perpendicular to the direction of wave propagation, then the wave is known as transverse wave. And in this case, you can see from equation 1a and 1b. What equation 1a and 1b states? You can see it easily from equation 1a. You see that equation 1a states that k dot E is equal to 0. And as these two vectors k and E are non-zero vectors and their scalar product is 0, so you know if the scalar product of these two vectors is 0, definitely in this condition these two vectors are perpendicular to one another. So we can say that E is perpendicular to k. And similarly, from equation 1b, what you are seeing from this equation? This equation states that k dot H is equal to 0. So this result implies that magnetic field vector H is perpendicular to k. So we see here that electric field vector E and magnetic field vector H both are oscillating in a direction perpendicular to the direction of the wave vector k, and this is why this wave is actually of transverse nature. So these two results, you can say E perpendicular to H and E perpendicular to k and H perpendicular to k, imply that the wave is transverse in nature. So this is transverse in nature. Now we will discuss the another important property of this wave traveling in isotropic dielectric vector. So you can say this important property is what? That the three vectors E, H and K are orthogonal. Orthogonal. When you say these three vectors are orthogonal, it means all these three vectors are mutually perpendicular to one another. And it is also evident from equation defined in 1c and 1d. Let us see what the equation 1c and 1d states. See here. According to equation 1c, k cross E is equal to omega mu h. You know omega and mu are positive scalars, and the cross product of two vectors k and E is equal to omega mu h. So in accordance with the definition of the vector product or cross product of two vectors, you know if k cross E is equal to omega mu h, then h will be definitely perpendicular to both of the vectors k and E. Or in other words, you can say that h is perpendicular to the plane containing the vectors k and E. And similarly, you can see from this equation 1d as minus k cross h is equal to omega epsilon E. So in this condition, vector E is in fact perpendicular to the plane of vectors containing vectors k and h. It means E is perpendicular to both of the vectors k and h. So in this condition, you can write from one C. What is the equation 1c? This is k cross E is equal to omega mu h cross. Omega mu h cross. And this implies h is perpendicular to E, and at the same time h is perpendicular to k. Again, from equation 1d, we are seeing here that k cross h equal to minus k cross h equal to omega epsilon E. And so this result, in accordance with the definition of cross product of two vectors, implies that vector E is perpendicular to h and E is also perpendicular to k. So what we are seeing from this? Actually, we see that these three vectors are mutually perpendicular to one another. So we can say E, H and K are mutually perpendicular to one another, and hence they are orthogonal. They are orthogonal. So these were the two important properties of the electromagnetic wave traveling in an isotropic dielectric. Now we will discuss an important property of this wave traveling in the isotropic dielectric, and this is actually the most important property. So this is E and H are in same phase. In fact, to prove that in an isotropic dielectric medium, the electromagnetic wave in electromagnetic wave, the two vectors E and H are in same phase. Actually, we will calculate the intrinsic impedance of the medium. So in this heading, we are going to calculate intrinsic impedance of the medium, or you can say space. And you know, these two vectors will be called in same phase only when the ratio of the magnitude of these two vectors will be real and positive. And when you say these two vectors are in phase, what does it mean? It means when the electric field vector is maximum, at that moment magnetic field vector will be also maximum. And when electric field vector is 0, then in fact H will be also 0. And if the result is like this, only then we can say that these two vectors are in same phase. Actually, you will see in case of electromagnetic wave traveling in isotropic dielectric, this condition holds, and so we say that these two vectors E and H are in same phase. And while proving this, we will calculate the intrinsic impedance of the isotropic dielectric. So to prove this, let us start from equation, you can say from equation 1c. From equation 1c. What is equation 1c? Actually, equation 1c is omega mu h. I am writing the term in RHS in LHS here. Omega mu h, this is equal to K cross E. K cross E. And so from here we can find the value of H. So what will be this H? H is equal to K cross E over omega mu. And you know, this vector K can be expressed as K into n hat, because n hat is a unit vector in the direction of K. So we can write it as K into n hat cross E over omega mu. K n hat cross E by omega mu. And again we know that the phase velocity of the wave v is equal to omega by k. So this implies 1 over v will be what? This will be k by omega. And you can see here that in our expression there is the factor k by mu, k by omega, and so we can write instead of k by omega 1 over v. So what will be the above result? You can see this result will become, so we can write H is equal to 1 over mu v into n hat cross E. N hat cross E. And again, we have seen in the previous lecture the phase velocity of this wave in isotropic dielectric is v equal to what? This is 1 over root over mu into epsilon, and this implies 1 over v equal to what? This will be root over mu epsilon. So let us substitute the value of this 1 over v here, and when we will substitute this in this equation, then what will be our result? You can see H will be then equal to epsilon by mu square root n hat cross E. N hat cross E. And so n hat cross E. And so from here you can see that the modulus of n hat cross E divided by H, what will be this? This is actually equal to, when you say n hat cross E and divided by mu, then it will be actually equal to, and see here I have just written this expressions wrongly here. We have to put 1 over v equal to root over mu epsilon. So actually in fact there will be mu epsilon, and so 1 over v, yes, and this will be actually equal to, no, that is correct, and this will be now equal to mu over epsilon's square root. And we know that n hat is perpendicular to E. So n hat cross E will be equal to E into a unit vector perpendicular to both of these two vectors. So let us say this vector is n prime hat. So this will be this, because this will be 1 into E into sine 90. And so this will be simply equal to modulus of the vector E. And so we can write it in this way. This is mod of, so you are seeing here that n hat cross E by H mod is equal to root over mu by epsilon. And as you can see from here that n is perpendicular to E, so n hat cross E will be simply equal to E into a unit vector perpendicular to both of these vectors. Let us say this is n dashed hat. So if we will take its mode, simply it will be a mod of E. So you can write this mod of E by mod of H equal to E naught H naught, and this will be equal to what? You know mu is equal to mu r into mu naught, and epsilon is epsilon r into epsilon naught. Now we know that the square root of mu naught by epsilon naught is actually equal to z naught, which is intrinsic impedance of the free space. So this result can be written as root over mu r by epsilon r into z naught. And you can say what is this z naught? Here z naught is intrinsic impedance of free space. Intrinsic impedance of free space. And therefore we can write it in this manner: modulus of E by H is equal to E naught by H naught, and this will be equal to Z. And what is this Z? We have written this Z instead of what? You can see this Z is equal to root over mu r over epsilon r into Z naught. And this is actually known as intrinsic impedance of the medium. This is intrinsic impedance of the medium. Intrinsic impedance of the medium. And you can see, as you know, this Z naught is actually equal to what? You know, this Z naught is equal to 120 pi ohm. And root over mu r by epsilon r, this will be also a real and positive quantity. So this result actually implies that the ratio of the modulus of E and H is actually real and positive. Therefore, we conclude the ratio of mod of E by H is real and positive. And if it is real and positive, what does it imply? So this implies that E and H are in same phase. These two vectors are in same phase. And as I have told you, when you say that E and H are in same phase, it means when during the oscillation E is maximum, at that moment H is also maximum. So this was a very important fact, that in the wave traveling in isotropic dielectric, the electric field vector and the magnetic field vector are oscillating in same phase. Now we will discuss the fourth important property, and this is related to actually the energy flow in this case. So energy flow. You know, in case of electromagnetic wave, the magnitude and the direction of the flow of energy can be found by using the expression for Poynting vector, because Poynting vector is simply energy flowing per second perpendicular to a surface through the unit area of the surface. So you know what will be the Poynting vector. Poynting vector. This is defined as S equal to E cross H. S equal to E cross H. And you know this H is equal to what? We have just found this expression. This is in fact n hat cross E over Z. I have written the expression in terms of Z. So now let us simplify the expression in the numerator, that is E cross n hat cross E, from the definition of the triple vector product. So we can write this Poynting vector S equal to what? This will be actually 1 over Z into, from the definition of triple vector product, you can write it E dot E into n hat minus E dot n hat into E. This is evident from the definition of triple vector product. And we know, as these two vectors E and n hat are perpendicular to one another, so this product will be 0, and therefore we can write the Poynting vector S is equal to 1 over Z into, and here E dot E will be actually equal to E square, so this is E square into n hat, and we can simplify this result to further some extent. We can write it in terms of, in fact, the expression for 1 over Z. So what will be the expression for 1 over Z? You can write it in this way, or similar. Let us take this result as a standard result. Again, if we find the average value of this S, what will be this? This will be actually equal to 1 over Z average value of E square into n hat. And you know, actually this average value of E square is equal to what? I have calculated it in previous lecture, so I am writing it here directly. We can write it, this is 1 over Z into E RMS square into n hat. So from these two results, we are seeing here that the wave is propagating, the Poynting vector is directed in the direction of wave vector, that is in the direction of unit vector n hat, and n hat is along k. So you can say the direction of flow of energy is the direction in which the wave propagates, and the Poynting vector is actually in this case in fact n over mu r times the Poynting vector if the same wave propagates through the free space. So as you have seen earlier, that in this case our Poynting vector is Z and it is related to Z naught. Now we will discuss the another important property of this wave propagation, and that property is energy density. Energy density. You know, in fact, in case of electromagnetic field, there are two types of energy density. First one is electrostatic energy density and another is electromagnetic energy density, and we will see that these two energy densities are same. You know, we denote the electrostatic energy density by UE and the magnetic energy density by UM. Let us find the ratio of these two energy density. We know UE is equal to what? This is actually 1 over 2 epsilon into E square. And what will be this UM? This is 1 over 2 mu H square. And so we can see from here, this is epsilon by mu times E over H whole square. And we know that this E over H is actually equal to Z, which is intrinsic impedance of the medium. So this is epsilon by mu into Z square. And we know what is this Z square is. We know that this Z square is actually equal to mu over epsilon. So you can see from here, these will cancel out and the result is 1. And so we conclude that in this case, just like in free space, UE is equal to UM. So you can see all the results are just identical to the result obtained in the case of the wave propagation in free space. Now let us find the total energy density in this case. We can easily find it. The total energy density. What will be the total energy density? Let us say it is U, and this U will be UE plus UM. UE plus UM. And as we have seen that UE and UM both are same, so we can write it as half epsilon E square plus half epsilon E square, because UM is also equal to UE. And this may be written like this, as epsilon is written as epsilon naught into epsilon r. So this will be this half epsilon naught epsilon r E square. And you can write it in this way. Let us take the factor epsilon r separate, and this is half epsilon naught, sorry, this factor half will be not, because after adding these two, this will be simply this much. And so this is this much. And we know this epsilon naught E square, this is actually energy density in case of free space. So you can write this as epsilon r into U naught. So U is equal to epsilon r into U naught. Here you can say this U naught is what? This is energy density in free space. Energy density in free space. Now we will express the Poynting vector in terms of the energy density. Or in other words, you can say we will find a relation between the Poynting vector and the energy density. And for this, let us write further. You can write average value of Pointing vector S over average value of energy density U. And what will be the average value of this? This will be actually equal to, you can see this is equal to n over mu r. Here n is refractive index. I am writing it in terms of refractive index. Epsilon naught C E RMS square into n hat and over epsilon naught epsilon r E RMS square. And so this will be actually equal to n into C over mu r into epsilon r, mu r into epsilon r. And we know that this mu r into epsilon r, and actually n is equal to root over mu r into epsilon r. So here mu r into epsilon r will be equal to n square. So we can write this expression as n, and there is n hat 2 nc over n square and n hat. And you can see from here this will cancel out, and you know C over n is actually equal to what? This is v, velocity of the wave in isotropic dielectric. So this is v into n hat, and therefore you can write from here that this vector S is equal to what? This may be written as v into average value of u into n hat. So you can see from here the Poynting vector is expressed as v into average value of u into n hat. So what this result actually shows? This shows that the electromagnetic energy is transmitted with the same velocity with which the fields do. This you can see this v is velocity of the wave traveling in isotropic dielectric, and S represents the energy flowing. So energy is flowing at a velocity which is equal to the velocity of the wave propagating in this medium. And at the same time, this energy flow also takes place in the direction of wave propagation, because you see that the Poynting vector S is parallel to n hat, and n hat represents the direction of wave propagation. So you can say in this case the energy flow takes place in the direction of wave propagation. So these were all about the wave propagation, electromagnetic wave propagation in isotropic dielectric. In next lecture we will discuss actually its propagation through other media.